grab your cup. If you've had chronic health issues, if you've been diagnosed with autoimmune, here's a couple of pieces I want to just lay out for you to consider. So look at your own life and your history and see if this applies to you. What research has shown, as autoimmune conditions have been on the rise, if you look at 100 years ago, the percentage of people was so much lower, like a fraction of what it is now. And more people are getting diagnosed, and really 2 out of 3 of them are women. So the rise in women in particular with autoimmune or chronic health like fatigue, chronic digestive issues. So here's a couple of pieces I want you to think about. Why the immune system is so impacted by stress. If your body has been in long-term stress, and what I want you to think about is it might feel so normal to you, like this is just life, or what do you mean? You know, everybody's stressed. It might just be so normal to you. But if you've been stuck in anything like hypervigilance, always worrying about how other people perceive you, if you're always the one who's doing things for everybody else, if you can't sit still and just be, to watch a movie with your family or to do something else, that's a sign that you're always going, right? Which may just feel normal. And oftentimes, I know in my own life and the women that I work with, we have been in chronic stress since we were children, because the households we grew up in were stressful. And so we learned how to stay guarded and stay triggered on. The reason that impacts your health, it's a couple of things. Number one, when you're guarded, when your nervous system is saying, stay hypervigilant, there's a problem, your immune system is going to get shut off. Your body's going to say, okay, we don't have time to fight this bacteria, this virus, this whatever. We need to give all of our resources to fighting this problem, to staying safe, to managing somebody else's anger, if you're walking on eggshells all the time, or whatever it is. So the immune system will actually get turned off so that you have your resources. Another thing that happens is when you stay in, I'm talking about emotional stress, like a chronic emotional stress, you stay inflamed because the body doesn't really differentiate between, is it emotional stress? Is it stress from chemicals and toxins? Is it stress from you were in a car accident? The production of inflammatory cells will stay elevated. It's called cytokines. So the production of those kinds of cells are going to stay up and keep your body in an inflamed state. And when you're in an inflamed state, you can't be healthy. So anybody who's living in stress all the time, think about your relationships, think about your job. If you feel stressed all the time, you're in a chronic inflamed state. The other piece of that, especially with autoimmune conditions, is the immune system won't shut off that inflammatory response, and then it starts to just go after anything. It doesn't recognize the body that it's meant to protect as itself. It's like, okay, I'm staying, inflamed and triggered on for a reason, so let me go after whatever I think I need to go after. So it will find different tissues in the body. So that immune system regulation of going on when needed and shutting off gets completely disrupted when you stay in a stressful state, and it stops recognizing the right cells to go after or the own body tissue cells, and it doesn't go after things when you really need it, like when you get sick, okay? And then another piece of that is there are certain viruses and bacterias that we know are the root of chronic health issues. So it might be a Lyme infection. Lyme bacteria can stay in the body, and this is what happens. Oftentimes, this is what happens. A person is staying stressed, so that means there's probably tension in certain parts of their body, tension in their muscles, right? You might actually feel that tension, have chronic pain, but the tension where those muscles are staying constricted or contracted, The bacteria knows I can go in there and hide, because in that constricted state, the immune system can't really get in. So being in that state of having a constant tension in the body gives viruses and bacteria places to hide from the immune system. So even if you get your immune system functioning the way it should be, it can't really go after freely those different infections that are very much related to, again, especially autoimmune. And I'm speaking from experience. I had 4 autoimmune diagnoses over the course of my adult life, starting with ulcerative colitis in my early 20s. That was my first one. But I had always had stomach issues since I was a kid, and I grew up in a tense, stressed household. So from grammar school, a lot of tension, a lot of not knowing what was going to happen when I got home, set the grounds. But I had Epstein-Barr virus, which is known to be related to a lot of different autoimmune conditions, especially thyroid. And I had 2 thyroid diagnoses, Graves' disease and Hashimoto's. I had Epstein-Barr in 9th grade. That virus stays in your body and it'll stay dormant. And it will find places to hide if you're stressed and the immune system can't go after it. And then when you get enough constant stress and enough hits to the immune system and you're staying inflamed, it's going to be a significant root cause of other chronic health issues. In my mid to late 20s, I think I was like 26 or so, I got Lyme disease. And again, the Lyme bacteria, and that was 30 years ago. So the conversation about Lyme's and the Lyme disease and the opportunities to treat it were different than they are now. Wiped me out for a couple of years, just fatigue all the time. And that bacteria load of the Lyme disease stayed in my body. I was needing intravenous drips to try to get my energy up. So I want you to understand why chronic stress is such a significant part of your health. I hear some people, I work at a wellness center, and I'll hear people talking and they'll be like, I definitely notice when I'm stressed, I just don't feel as well. And I'm thinking, there's still a lack of connection, still an expectation of, I should be able to live my life like this and not have consequences, not have repercussions. Your body is telling you. And here's the thing, if it is chronic stress starting back from childhood because you had these certain life experiences and because you developed a way of being, it's going to take a lot more than just time management, than just let me give up a couple of obligations and sleep more. It's going to take rewiring how you think. It's going to take regulating your nervous system, perhaps for the first time in your life. And if you don't do that, your health does not stand a chance of getting better. It will always be, I need to manage this with supplements or prescriptions. Shutting down that nervous system response is key so that you can let your body get into a healing state. If you've had that, the work that I do with clients, really my background, I got so passionate about health because of my own health challenges. And the background of what I do comes from that wellness and health perspective. And I work with women on changing those patterns, regulating their nervous system, and rewiring how they think. If you know that you need that and you'd like to talk with me or my team, my colleague Libby will talk with you about the work that we do. Libby also had neurological Lyme disease and multiple autoimmune conditions. So she and I both have had that experience and have worked really hard, and it took a long time. We want to make it go much shorter and faster for you. So put chat in the comments and I'll make sure that we connect with you and we can give you some more information, okay? It's not your plight in life to be unwell. It doesn't have to be, but you need the right tools. Have a good day.